gonna change the world, change the world, change the world, yeah.
Welcome to Celebrate Transformation. My name is Sally Colon-Petree, and I'm joined by my amazing host, Mr. Tim Storey.
Good to see you. You know what I love is this candle that's burning so nicely behind you.
It smells so good, too. I wish you could be in the room.
I'm telling you, like, it's almost coming across the screen.
It's the first time I'm lighting it, but it smells really good. So I'm in this like peaceful state. So it's good. Yeah.
So let's talk about what we're wearing today, because it's not by accident.
No.
Because Sally and I have been friends for over 20 years. So she says, I'm going to wear this color. Why don't you wear something similar?
And you know what? A man in pink, that melts me and most women, I think. Because if you can pull it, dang.
Confidence.
No, I love it. So today, talk about needing confidence. We're talking about raising teenagers successfully.
Yes.
And you know a lot about that, actually.
I know a lot about it because I have raised children that went through teenage years. Mm-hmm. And I also help a lot of my friends raise their kids. And I'm known as Uncle Tim. Yeah.
I'm one of those.
To a lot of children.
Yeah.
So in this show on transformation, we're all going through change. And that's one of the things that's so cool about life is that both of us, we know so many people. Mm-hmm. We both know friends that they have had children just in the last few years, newborns, right?
Yeah.
And they're so excited.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, wait till those little children become 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Adolescents.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's
so
the
we're going to talk about that today because that's part of the transformation and the change. And I've heard this so many times where parents have said, I wish I could just freeze my child right at that certain age when they were acting so great.
Right. Which is usually like 10. I believe like a 10, they're like in fourth grade. They're still sweet. And, they haven't really been like, what's the word? Influenced by society.
Exposed and influenced.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so let me tell you an observation before we get into some of your notes, because we're going to start with your notes and your ideas, and I'm going to add my notes, okay?
Sounds good.
So me and you have a mutual friend named Michelle.
Yes.
And so she has an awesome daughter.
Yes,
me. And you have two daughters that are awesome. And so can I tell you something? From the outside, I get to watch these kids are changing.
Right.
Like 2 years ago, I would just see you guys all out like having ice creams. Okay.
Everything was innocent.
It was all innocent. The music was all innocent.
Yeah.
It's now becoming more like middle teen. Mm-hmm. And I'm noticing, don't get into the kids' names, okay?
Okay.
I'm noticing now they even like different hair colors.
Yes.
Hair styles. I'm seeing more piercings. There's a lot of stuff going on over there.
Listen. Okay, you guys know my daughter's name, but anyway, she is begging for an ear piercing. She's 14. Yeah. I'm like, no, 100% no, capital N-O, no, exclamation point. It ain't happening. But this girl has it or that girl no. It's a solid no for me.
Yes. Okay, so why did you want to talk about this subject so much? Like we have a lot of subjects that we talk about every single week on this amazing program, Celebrate Transformation. But you really want to talk about this one. Tell me why this one's on your heart.
So a couple of different reasons. Number one, I remember when my kids were a little bit younger and I called you. I don't know if you remember this. I called you. I was like, Tim, I got some struggles.
I remember.
And I need your help. And you gave me the best advice. And I was like, of course I want to talk about it because I can relate. I have two teenagers myself. But I was like, I want to get his perspective. I want people to hear some of the things you said to me about my kids when they were like, 12 and 13. Yes. And so I want some of that today. but also because, I myself, like, I'm not perfect. I'm going through my own struggles with my teenagers. I have a lot of girlfriends that have teenagers that are also struggling. We're trying to band together right now because I have one in high school and one in 8th grade. This is a really tough time. And then I'm really busy, but I know they need my time. So I thought I know it's not just me right now, especially with online schooling and everything that's going on. So I thought it'd be really good for the moms, for me, number one, but also for the moms that are out there that are in struggle right now with their teenagers, not knowing, because they're in their own struggle right now, families. So it's a tougher time right now, I feel like. There's like something added to it. So I thought this would be an important subject.
Okay, so let's dialogue a little bit about something. So part of the advice that I gave you is that as a parent, there are 3 things that we are supposed to do scripturally. Okay. Number 1 is we're supposed to guide our family, which is direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, we're supposed to guard, which is protection.
I love that.
Third is we're supposed to govern, which is administration.
So good.
So watch how cool this is. The guidance is easy when they're little, because they're not going to push back.
Right.
The guidance becomes more difficult when they begin to be exposed and influenced by other kids.
Yes.
Okay. So it's very important that we have to guard 2 things in our children. Number 1, their ear gate. Secondly, their eye gate.
Oh, wow.
The ear gate is what they listen to.
Right.
So like, let's say if you're just going and you're having a nice time and they're playing like, pop radio station, and maybe there's 1 or 2 good songs and they're cute, you're singing with them. And then some nasty song comes out of nowhere. Like, I was driving yesterday and a nasty song. Some nasty lyrics.
A lot. Seriously.
Yeah. So even for myself, because I'm into the clarity of mind,
right?
I smiled and then I flipped the channel like that was nasty.
Good for you.
So that's my ear gate.
Okay.
So the eye gate is nowadays there's so many channels that are just hitting your eyes nonstop. So you may think, well, my child's not really paying attention, but really maybe they are.
Right.
So this is part of this whole idea of like guidance.
Yeah.
When you guide them, you also have to guard them to make sure you watch what they see, eye gate, and what they hear, ear gate. Now,
absolutely.
For you raising 2 daughters that are growing, that's a constant challenge.
Oh,
because
yeah.
of the peers, their friends.
Yeah.
And what their friends are allowed to watch or listen to.
Yes.
Okay? So now you got to go from the one who's the guide, who's like the cool guide, to really, Mom?
Right.
Another one who is like guarding.
Right.
And you'll get the pushback. Let's talk about the pushback. You tell me about the pushback.
Okay, let me tell you about the pushback. So first of all, there's 3 things that I want to make aware to parents that are watching right now, because there's so many moms that I'm like, do you know about this? Do you know about this? Like ways to protect our kids. And they're like, no, what is that? So first of all, I don't know if, a lot of parents allow their kids to watch Netflix. My kids, as much as I can control it, they do not watch Netflix unless I know what they're watching. And they don't have the password, so they can't watch it on their phone or computer. They're watching it in my house, and I'm watching what they're watching, because there is some stuff on Netflix that is so inappropriate that makes me uncomfortable. So that's number 1. So make sure you're paying attention to what your kids are watching on Netflix. Number 2, there's a thing called screen time on your iPhones. You can actually control the restrictions. You can control how long they're on the phone. You can control how long they're on Instagram or social media. So that is a free thing that Apple has put on each phone for parents to be able to control some of the stuff that's happening and guard, as you said, Tim, because that's really what it's about, guarding them, right? So for me, there's a lot of kids in this area where I live where their parents, they give them a lot of freedom. And I keep my kids very tight. And parents know when they come to my house, I want to meet the parent. When my kids go to someone else's house, I want to meet that parent. I want to know who's in the house when they go in. They don't do sleepovers unless the kids are sleeping here and I know them. So there's a lot of things that I have put in place. It's not easy. I get a lot of pushback from my older one, a lot of pushback. And there's sometimes her and we do this. But what I've learned to do is not react to her anymore. So whenever she gets mad at me, she's like, Mom, oh my gosh, I can't believe, nobody does that. Of course, that's not true, right? So there's a lot of parents that do it. And I just look at her, I go, well, I'm sorry, honey, but that's just the way it's going to be. I don't argue with her anymore.
Okay, but you got to help us on how you became that way. Because when I life coach people with their children, one of the things that I think too many parents are trying to do is just be the child's buddy.
That's right.
Okay, so let's say, they're budding up with their son at like 8, 9, 10, easier.
Sure, absolutely.
But if the kid is like 15, 16, 17, 18, he may start pushing against what the parents are wanting, and think is safe for them. And so we have to understand that we are parents and that we are to guide, to guard, and to govern.
Yes.
And part of that is laying down discipline, right?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Also there are certain rules within a household.
Yeah.
So how did you learn to not just be the buddy and even maybe have your children go to bed mad at you?
Sure. So you're going to laugh because you always laugh at me when I mention this, but I took a boundaries class and and I remember it was actually my therapist that said to me, like, it's okay to set boundaries with your kids. And I was like, what does that look like? Well, it looks like when you say something, obviously it's not the old school where your mom used to go, because I said so, because they're not really going to learn.
Ooh, bring that back. So that's an old one.
That's an old school.
Okay, let's go there for a second. So you would say, Mom, how come I can't pierce my ears?
Right, because I said so, right back in the day.
Mom, how come I can't stay up till 10 at night?
Right, because I said so. That's right.
Wow, okay.
But see, that doesn't play well anymore with kids nowadays, right? So what I do now is when it's a no, it's always, and maybe some parents don't agree with this, but I will explain why. I'll say, this is why, no, and this is why. Because if you don't give them the this is why, then it's a bigger pelea, fight, right? So they don't want to hear
this is
because
good.
I said, yeah. So it's the thing that I talked about in another show of being okay with disappointing your children. It's okay to disappoint your children. So when, even when they say, oh, I'm so upset at you, Mom, there's a lot of parents that have this codependent relationship with their kids where they don't want to upset their kids because they don't want to be in that. No, they don't want to be in that. They don't want to feel uncomfortable. Their kids are mad at them. Oh my gosh, I'm okay being uncomfortable when my kids are mad at me. I really am. Because if I'm doing what you're telling me, which is to guard and guide and govern, then it's okay for me to set some boundaries. And here's the other thing.
Whoa.
Here's the other thing. And you know this, in the adolescents from 10 to 19, their prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain that helps them with memory, decision-making, expression, social behavior, like that's developing and maturing from 10 to 19. But it doesn't mature completely till they're 25.
Yes.
For the parents that are like, well, my daughter's so mature. Well, yeah, my daughter, Bella, she's extremely mature, but that doesn't mean that she has the right coping mechanisms for making the right decisions. Yes. It doesn't mean that she's going to express herself correctly as an adult because she's not an adult.
Okay. So this is interesting for you to say because I consider you a very cool parent.
Thank you. I am.
So like Sally does TikToks with her kids.
Yes, I do.
Because Sally can dance. Some of you do not know this. She was in a group, a girls group. Like they were super popular. They got signed by like big people. So she could dance. She does TikToks.
I do.
She's funny. She's creative. Yes. You have like great parties at your house for kids.
I do.
I watch these on social media. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know. Last time we had for Stevie, all the kids did a TikTok together. I love it.
Okay, so you're the cool mom.
Yes.
But you're also the guide, guard, and govern mom. So I'm going to throw two words at you, and then let's respond. Okay. So my background, for those that do not know, part of what I've done is life coach people for 30 years. And I was trained by one of the best psychologists in the world who taught at USC. And so I've been life coaching people a long time. So if you don't know why I talk life coach talk, because that's what I've been doing for 30 years. Now, so 2 words I'm going to give you. One is revelation. Secondly is conviction. Now, it's hard for us to change anything in our life unless we get a revelation.
Yes.
Oprah calls it an aha moment.
An aha moment. Yes.
Okay. So see, a revelation is when you just know that you know that you know that you know.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So as a parent, there are times when you get a revelation. Okay. And that revelation may be like, you know what? If I don't start bringing in healthier food to cook, this is not going to be good for anybody. It's like you get a revelation.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay? Or in the midst of COVID-19, we're going to take family walks together.
Right.
We all can't be cooped up in this place.
That's right.
So that's like a revelation.
Yes.
So a revelation leads to conviction. So I like to say it this way. It drops 12 inches from your mind into your heart, and conviction happens. Now, when conviction happens, it brings action.
Right.
You usually do not have action on something unless you have a revelation, conviction, and action.
Wow. So good.
Okay. So you have a revelation on how you see that your kids are supposed to live a really great life.
Right.
That, in my opinion, led to conviction. And you're like, no, yes, ain't gonna happen.
That's right.
Revelation, conviction,
yes.
to action. Okay, tell me what those 3 words mean to you.
I love all of that because I'm listening to you. I'm like, I relate. Because kids, they are a reflection of what they see and what they hear. Okay. Right. So when I went through my own transformation, that was the beginning of the revelation of me understanding, right? How not to do it the old school way, because it wasn't working. Right. So what happened with me is I went through my own transformation. I broke the generational curses of when I was younger, the way my mom treated her mom and blah, 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 grandma. Right. So it comes from over here. So I decided I don't want to do it that way because it wasn't working. So as I was going through my transformation, the girls started to see something different. Right. They started to see something different. So their reaction, which was my reaction back then, as I started to change my reaction, as I started to feel different triggers and, dealing with those triggers, I started to see them deal with things differently because now they have tools. Now mommy's doing things differently. So now they're starting to react differently. They're starting to, the other day, Bella's like, Mom, this girl, she texted me and she said, da, 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 da. And I go, well, how are you going to deal with it? Well, now she has tools because she sees how mom deals with things. So it's not the old school way anymore. And then the other day, Stevie said to me, Mom, can you teach me how to love myself the way you love yourself?
Yes. Wow.
First of all, I was like, she recognizes. Okay. Second of all, I was like, I melted because I was like, the fact that she even recognizes that.
Okay. This is amazing. I'm really liking this.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go down a road where I think that you can help better than I can help. Okay. So, because you have 2 children and they're both girls.
Yes.
So if you're not careful, you will always have just those 2 together, like 2 little puppies.
Right.
But tell us why it's important that a mother or a father spends some quality time with just the one.
Yes.
Now, I'm not putting my father down. I only knew him till I was 10. He passed in a car accident. But I was only with him one time by myself.
Right.
Because he had 5 kids.
Yeah.
Only one time ever do I remember being with him by myself. And it was because we were in a hurry and I needed a baseball glove for baseball.
Yeah.
And my mother was yelling at him. And she says, you need to take him. He's got to have it for tomorrow. And so we jumped in the station wagon.
Yeah.
And I remember he wasn't even in that great a mood to go do it. And he was driving and we're going to get this baseball glove. And then I think he started to like realize I had a funny personality.
Right.
He's like, oh, I have 5 kids. Usually I'm with all of them. Hey, I guess you're the funny one. This is a true story. I was with the guy one time by myself my whole life.
Wow.
I'll never forget. We went in there to buy a baseball glove, and my mother had ticked him off as he was going to get it. And I remember him saying, hey, I think I'm going to buy one too. He goes, I used to be pretty good at baseball. Wow. And he goes, why don't I buy one and we can play catch and then we'll both practice. And I go, okay. So for real, I had like this moment. So we both get baseball gloves. He gets a bigger one. He had a bigger hand. And he goes, before we go back home, he goes, let's go into this parking lot.
No.
And let's play catch. So he bought a baseball glove for both of us, a baseball, because you need one to play catch. Yeah, yes. And this is my one experience with my dad that I really remember, because it was dark outside.
Yeah.
Big lights. It was like, at like a Kmart parking lot. And we're playing catch with each other. And I'm like, oh my God, he's actually pretty good. The guy could throw the baseball. I was good. And we were like playing catch with each other. The only time ever in the history of my life that I was with him one-on-one. Why is a one-on-one so important? Please tell us.
Ooh, well, first of all, never compare the kids, right? Because they don't want to be compared. My kids are like wild flowers. And I have to treat them differently, water them differently, give them, like I have 2 plants in my house. I have a ficus tree, and then I have I can't remember the name of this other plant, but I have to water this one. Once a week, I water it. It's perfectly fine. This other plant, I have to water it every single day, and it has to be in the sun. So it has to be in the sun. I have to water it every day. Otherwise it wilts. So I look at my kids that way. Stevie, I water her once a week. She's happy. I'm good, Mom. As long as I can have one day with you, we get to hang out.
So good. You are on your game again.
You're so funny. I water and she's good. I give her that one day, do a couple TikToks with her, maybe take her to eat because she loves to go out to eat like me. Bella, I got to water her every day. She needs Mama's time every day. Which is surprising, right? Yeah. She wants my attention every day. She has lots of stories she wants to share. She's writing right now music, and she wants to write a book and a script. So Mom, look at what I wrote. Mom, like today she texted me, one of her best friends, they're upset at each other. I don't know what happened. We're in an argument. So I said, okay, when I see you later today, we're going to talk about what happened. So so I have to treat my kids differently. They're both complete opposites of one another. So I need to spend this time with her different than I spend with this time with her. And it's so important.
Okay. That was one of the greatest things you've ever said in all these shows we've done, which is about 10.
Oh, thank
you. You got 2 big plants.
Yeah.
They're both need different type of care.
Absolutely.
So one daughter, you could water like once a week and then just watch her.
Good.
The other one needs to be watered more.
Every day.
Wow. So you're saying that in parenting, even though we're busy, we have to try and do our best to take time to have individual time.
Find the time. The kids, listen, maybe they don't say, Mom, I want your time alone, but trust me, they want your time alone. And when it comes from you, when you say, we're going to have a day together, just you and me, you know how much that means to a kid? That your mom wants to stop everything she's doing to just be with you? That is incredible. It really is the feeling that a kid gets. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
True story, Sally Colon-Petree, you are watching Celebrate Transformation. Now, So Sally Colon-Petree, can you life coach a woman that needs help in this area?
Absolutely. I mean, what I just said, those are super important. If you have 1 or 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, I have friends that have 5 kids. So you got to find their individual. Who are they individually? Get to know them, right? Each of your kids separately. Have that quality time. I see this on Facebook sometimes. A dad is like, I'm taking my daughter on a date, right? I think that's beautiful. I'm going to take her to get ice cream or do it. I love when dads do that. I love when moms take the time to do that. So I say, get to know your kids individually, give them the quality time, and treat them the way they need to be treated. I don't treat Bella the way Stevie needs to be treated, right? So get to know them individually. I think that's super important. The other thing that a lot of people don't talk about is in raising your children. So I was reading this earlier today. There was a Harvard grant study that talked about how your kids can become successful by doing chores. I don't know if you've seen this.
I've not.
Yes. So in the past, I had before COVID, I had someone that was cleaning my house. Then COVID happened. I was like, I guess I'm cleaning my own house. And I think a lot of moms have had to go through that, which is fine. I actually feel like I clean my house better anyway. Not say anything about that. So what I've been doing is I've been saying, okay, girls, we have 6 rooms where each of us are going to take 2 rooms. And of course, at first they were like, but mom, what? So it's turned into something really cool because this is what I do now. And this is maybe something you guys want to do. Is I say to them, every time you clean, I'm going to give you an allowance, but I'm not going to hand them money. I'm going to have a little savings account in my phone that shows what, you have $20 in your savings account, right? On my phone. So when they want boba or they want a special meal or whatever, I can go, let me see what's in your bank account. I'll go, okay, you got $20 in your bank account. Let's get boba.
Okay,
so
I love this.
That's a new thing I'm doing with them. But the Harvard study says, if you train your kids to do chores around the house, when they get older, they become more successful professionals because they're not looking for someone else to do it because they're used to you teaching them. Chores. So they're going to say, you know what? If when somebody says that needs to be done, they're going to go, oh, chores. I know how to do chores. I'll do it. And they step in. Right. So now we're raising kids that are actually going to be successful, that are not afraid to do things, that are not lazy or entitled, because I think there's a lot of that going on right now because we're afraid to tell our kids to do something because we don't want them to be mad at us. No, you take control. You set those boundaries. Don't be afraid to disappoint your kids and have them do chores.
How awesome is this show that it goes by so quickly? We're at 31 minutes. We're done. 31 minutes.
Oh
All right. Sally Colon-Petree, Tim Storey. Please life coach with her. Ladies, she's going to help you with your children and even take you through a book, probably boundaries. She's great at boundaries. But life coach with her and then watch us every single week. And Sally, you were telling us that they can set a reminder somehow.
Yeah. So you can actually go on Jesus Daily, which you're watching right now. You could set a reminder and then I think it's a couple hours beforehand, it'll send you something on Facebook that says this show is going, live at this time. So you don't miss any of our shows because we're going to keep doing these every Wednesday. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We love being with you guys. Make sure you send your requests or comments below. We see every single comment. And we just love you guys that you guys even stop by to take time to watch this and hope we're a blessing to you guys.
Life is good. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next time.
I'm gonna change the world, change the world, change